High schoolers learn dining etiquette.
And the city of Troy gets a new police chief. Stay tuned. Troy TrojanVision News starts now.
From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision News.
Welcome to Troy TrojanVision News for June 10th, 2015. I'm Christy Henderson.
And I'm Samantha Cocan. Thank you for joining us this evening.
The city of Troy now knows who will be taking the reins when current police chief Jimmy Ennis retires later this year. The city council announced their decision at last night's meeting. Jordan Elston introduces the man who will be the next chief.
Troy City Council announced Tuesday night that Captain Randall Barr will be assuming the position as Chief of Police after the set retirement of current Chief of Police Jimmy Ennis for September 30th.
I'm humbled by the entire experience. It's an honor to be chosen to serve.
Captain Barr will take over as police chief on October 1st and says he has many plans for the future.
Well, you know, we've got a lot of work to do between now and then. I look forward to working with Chief Ennis and making a smooth transition. And you know, we need to work to keep our relationships in the community strong. And I look forward to working with members of the community and with our officers and to make sure that we keep that trust and do what we've got to do to keep that.
Mayor Jason Reeves says that he has worked with Barr for many years and is confident in his abilities.
I have known and worked with Captain Barr for many years. I have a great deal of trust and confidence in him and look forward to working with him in the future, and I think we can serve the public and grow this department together.
Current Chief Jimmy Ennis says that having an officer promoted to Chief of Police from within the Troy Police Department makes for a smoother transition, and he also offers a few words of advice.
Well, I believe it is, and I think it's a testament to how good this department is that we continue to have people who come up through the ranks and that are able to ascend to the chief's job. Take it slow, don't try to do too much at one time, and kind of get your feet wet and go from there.
Jordan Elston, Troy TrojanVision News.
The current chief, Jimmy Ennis, announced earlier this year that he plans to retire on October 1st.
All this week, deaf and hearing impaired high schoolers from across the state are on campus learning to make the transition to college. But this afternoon, they learned a lesson that will be useful outside the classroom. In association with Camp Success, Troy University hosted a college prep camp for deaf and hard of hearing students. One of their many activities was an etiquette luncheon hosted by Mrs. Hawkins.
We were having an etiquette lunch today where Mrs. Hawkins was teaching us where to put our place settings, where we could find our different forks and spoons, which is pretty overwhelming information, especially for a youngster first starting college. Different things about how to treat people when you invite them to a formal lunch and how to treat your guests and different things like that.
At the luncheon, students learned the proper etiquette for a formal meal and how to make a good first impression.
We only talked about dining etiquette today because we had such a limited amount of time, and I tried to just prepare them for the very basics, which fork to use, what to do with their knives and forks when they were finished, what to do with their napkin. That's always a very popular question, what to do with your napkin.
They learned the proper etiquette for a formal meal, and they learned about first impressions and how important that is, so that when they go out into the real world and apply for jobs, they'll be able to appropriately have job interviews over meals and business luncheons and things like that, so they can be more successful in their careers.
Mrs. Hawkins tells us the one skill she hopes the students learned from the banquet.
Knowing how to treat other people the way you want to be treated, that's the most important thing. That's Emily Post's definition of etiquette, is applying the golden rule in every situation with a few rules added. And I learned that many years ago, and that's what I teach, that if you're considerate of other people, you treat them the way you want to be treated, then you're not going to make many mistakes in public.
The camp will wrap up this Saturday.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. An 18-year-old man who had just graduated from Pisgah High School last month has died after diving off DeSoto Falls in an apparent swimming accident. Zachary Ryle Goolsby jumped off the falls about 12:30 Monday afternoon. His body was found 2 hours later.
An Alabama man faces multiple charges in what police describe as a holdup attempt that was foiled by a quick-thinking pharmacist. Authorities say 28-year-old Christopher Trail of Red Bay is charged with kidnapping, robbery, and theft following a Thursday incident in Red Bay in northwest Alabama.
Authorities say a former East Limestone Boy Scout leader has been charged with having and sharing hundreds of pornographic images of children on his computer. 49-year-old Robert Glenn Collar was charged yesterday, nearly a year after his computers were seized during an investigation of child pornography in 2014.